What is going on? It is November the 2nd, 2025, approximately 10:03 a.m. on that eastern side. Now we done flipped them poles, so it might be western. Then again, I don't know. I'm Damika, and it's time for hashtag Lost Souls Tarot Cards, our portals to truth. How has your week been? Ah, my goodness. I know I have been waiting all week to get to this video to start a new week to see what kind of energies we're going to be focusing on during this week. Okay, so of course we're going to get into our portals. We're going to get into the cards, flip some cards, and see what comes out in the cards. Taking a little different method today. Nope. You're not going to get off that easy. I need you to go ahead and go grab your notebook and go grab your pen, because as always, we're taking some notes while we're doing this transmission, in every transmission. In fact, you should be taking notes on everything in life till your hands fall off. Once you take your notes, though, you want to make sure you go back and you read your notes and apply what you wrote down to your life. Observe what you wrote down in your life. Watch what you wrote down play out in your life. All right, so typically before we get into the portals and pulling the portals, opening up these portals, I would read a book. I would read out of my book. Give me a second. Hashtag reverse the negative. Bam, bam. My name, Damika. Bam, bam. All right, empowerment through positivity. That's what reversing the negative is all about. Okay, being the most positive that you can be in the most negative way. You feel what I'm saying? So if you got a goal that you have to complete out there, and you have to communicate with folk, and sometimes folk don't want to hit you back or call you back or email you back, you kind of just want to email them back, call them back, text them back. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe they want to see if you really want that goal to be completed. All right, make sure you have an open line of communication. Make sure your energy is welcoming that energy to come in and wanting to communicate. All right, so today what we're going to do is we're going to read a poem that I wrote down that's going to end up being in my next project, my next Bible that I'm going to publish, self-publish. All right, so let's go ahead and get the back door cracked open. It's cold where I'm at in Northern Virginia. Yes, it is. It's cold. All right, it's cold. Little nip out here. Comment below where you're from. All right, and also comment below, how has your week truly been going? Right? Have you been overthinking things? Have you been taking things a little bit too emotional, too personal? Have you been too observing a little bit too heavy? All right, have you not been acknowledging all of the hard work that you've been putting into your life, right? Because it's your life, it's your mission, it's your goal, right? We respect all higher beings that's out there, but ultimately you are the higher being. You are the higher consciousness. All right, so let's get into it. This one is called Shadows Buried Deep. Okay, Shadows Buried Deep. I wrote this on October 25th, 2025. Excuse my handwriting, and excuse me while I get through it, reading it. Okay, here we go. Shadows Buried Deep. 6 feet deep is where all the meant to be forgotten secrets, betrayals, love, pain, laughter, and hate lie. Turned into shadows, even the lies get buried away, meant to be forgotten over time. With some good sex and an excellent financial lover, those lies that were buried away are exhumed along with the body, but not the same body that originally told the lie. Makes you wonder if the secrets, betrayals, pain, hate, and lies could ever be replaced with love, loyalty, and laughter. Buried deep are the scars that has been reopened century after century. Nowadays it's called traumatic stress, and they prescribe medication which is also leaving scars, creating a nice grave site for my thoughts to never be addressed, just erased, buried away, turning into schizophrenia or borderline personality disorder. The shadows refuse to be buried. They always find you, and if they don't find you, they find those that are connected to you just to get to you. They hunt. They hunt the divine oracles, seers, psychics, and mediums, and not to harm them, no. They're tired of being buried away. They've shown time and time how the manipulation and corruption resurfaces, jumping from body to body, and nowadays those bodies don't even have a soul or chose to sell their soul, thinking their shadows would stay buried. We're in the year 2025, and I can honestly say I've been attacked by shadows that were never mine. I will admit, I thought they were going to kill me, but by being buried away and tucked deeply in my sacred womb, but honestly, they wanted to learn. They realized that what was buried in my soul was not my secrets nor my lies. They couldn't find a drop of hate. They did recognize my fear to grow, trust, and they can't stand my procrastination, but overall, they felt bad. Those buried shadows studied me in every incident in my life, good or bad, turning those secrets into revelation. They figured if something wanted to lie on you and manipulate you, why not let them? So they buried me far, far away, surrounding me with the magnetic field of protection and conjured up shadows. All that were buried away were released to find their answers. All I had to do was face my buried shadows and trust in myself. It's fascinating to watch them feast on the buried hurt, pain, lies, anger, murders, and life that no longer serves its purpose. It's also refreshing to know that I can dig up all that shit that destroyed me and observe the alchemization process. Why do we bury away so much, especially if it isn't ours? That's the question they asked me, and my answer to them was, I never received love, but I knew to give it in hopes that I wouldn't die and be buried away. Love you, Damika. All right, so that's called Shadows Buried Deep. Yep, I can hear your snaps from cosmos away. I hear it from cos, and my ears are ringing. That's a great connection. I appreciate that. Shadows Buried Deep, okay? All right, so let's get into some good old tarot. Let's see what's going on in the community. Today we're going to pull out some community helpers. But before we do that, beloveds, we're going to go ahead and ring this bell and welcome in the energies and the spirits. All right, let's get into it. Yes, and we would like to welcome any and all energies. Any and all energies are welcome to come through in the community and tell your truth. What's going on out here in the community? We do not welcome any lies. We welcome only truths. When it is your time to go, we will say goodbye to you. All right, loves, let's get into it. Thank you to all the ancestors, right? All the ancestors. Thank you to all the gods, the goddesses, the deities, the deities. Thank you to all energy forms. Thank you. Whatever comes through will come through, y'all. All right, so we're going to pull out 13 community helpers, and then we'll see how it goes from there. 8:25 on the timer, 10:12 a.m. on that clock. I hope you got your notebook and your pens. I hope y'all got y'all notebook in y'all pens now. Come on now. All right. I already did a pre-shuffle. Don't worry about that. We're going to go ahead and get into the bottom of the community helpers. What do we got here? Wild Wild West ice trade. Wild Wild West ice trade is going to be the storyline, okay? So that's what we're going to be basing this whole read off. The Wild Wild West ice trade. Yes, sir. Let's go. All right. Oh, thank you. That's one. All right. Thank you. All right, so we got legal authority that comes out right after the Wild Wild West ice trade. Legal authority grants power to a government entity such as a city or county government to act and govern within its boundaries of local jurisdiction. So if we got the Wild Wild West ice trade out here, and then I'm looking at legal authority, which is the Wild Wild West ice trade had power, right, from a government entity such as a city or a county government to act and govern within its boundaries of local jurisdiction. Okay, so they had legal authority to do whatever they were doing. Let's get into it. Yeah, let's get into it. Comment below if you're familiar with the Wild Wild West ice trade. Wild Wild West ice trade before I go ahead and look it up. Go ahead and comment below. And even if I do look it up, it's everyone's point of view. What is right or wrong, right? What is right or wrong? What is right or wrong? We don't know. Ooh. All right, so I'm looking at a 7 of Pentacles here. I'm looking at a 7 of Pentacles here. 7 of Pentacles. Wild Wild West ice trade. Got a 7 of Pentacles. Legal authority. This was long-term projects, all right? It took them patience and hard work, and they had delayed reward, but it's worth the wait. So within this energy and within your energy, you had patience, you had hard work, there's delayed reward, but it's worth the wait, okay? Work that precedes the harvest, waiting for investments to mature. So even within this storyline, they had this was a long-term project, okay, which they had to wait for investments to mature. So they needed that legal authority to help them with that trade. In your own realm, okay, you have someone or some energies that's in the 7 of Pentacles, okay? All right, because of your patience and hard work, don't worry about the delayed reward. It's worth the wait. It's coming. All right, I'm looking at local jurisdictions defines a region, municipality, city, or county within a state. So we're looking at local jurisdiction, okay? Local jurisdiction had legal authority to work with the Wild Wild West ice trade. Jeez! Can I get it out? I got a cougar that jumped on out. All right, spirit animal came on out. Portal number 5. You have a cunning way to exhibit your leadership, confidence, and awareness and balance, okay? Be steadfast, responsible, and dependable. You have mother goddess with wisdom, traveling to secret realms. That's what's up. All right, so the cougar is like, I'll guide you to stand behind convictions, learning how to use power, becoming a spiritual warrior, messenger between human and divine beings, okay? So you got a cougar that's out in this energy. You got a cougar out there, okay? You got a cougar that's out in this energy. And this cougar is in the 7 of Pentacles energy as well, saying that this energy is in the same energy of the 7 of Pentacles. Right? We are aware of the local jurisdictions that had legal authority to allow the Wild Wild West ice trade. Don't worry, we're about to get into what that Wild Wild West ice trade is. I'm also looking at they lied about terminating the program. They renamed it. All right? So this is the next portal that we're tapping into. All right? So they lied. This has something to do with 1995. Okay? Stargate project, probably. All right? But this is also in reference to the Wild Wild West ice trade. They lied about terminating the program. All they did was rename it. The year 1995 is saying that, but the year 1995 is bringing to light that somebody lied about terminating several programs out there. They just renamed them. That was portal number 6. Knock, knock, knockety, knock, the universe. That's the portal I'm looking at right now. Knock, knock, knockety, knock, the universe. Let me go ahead and pull it on out. Knock, knock, knockety, knock, the universe is saying. Let's go ahead and tap into it. We got the Wild Wild West ice trade. Persian, Mesopotamia. Persian and Mesopotamia. Okay. So we got Persian. This is Iranian mythology. All right. I'm looking at a whole bunch of gods here. Ahura Mazda, Mithra, Atar, Anahita. Okay. I'm also looking at Iran, fire temples. Mesopotamian. I'm looking at a lot of gods and goddesses. I'm also looking at Sumerian gods and goddesses like Enki, Enlil, Namu, Babylonian deities like Marduk, Ishtar, Nabu, Tiamat, Bel, supreme god of Babylon, Utu, Anu, supreme god and ruler of the heavens. So, could they have something to do with the Wild Wild West ice trade? Okay, you have to understand that a lot of these energies have been working through beings for a long time, for centuries and centuries and centuries on. Okay, so could Persian energies, Mesopotamian energies have been working in with this Wild Wild West ice trade? Keep in mind, comment below if you're familiar with the Wild Wild West ice trade before we dig into the research. And then also if this is connecting, right? Because I I am knowing how it's connecting on my end, but I want reassurance, right? Only way we grow is if we know. I know my perspective. What about yours? All right, so I'm looking at Persian, and we were also looking at Mesopotamian. I also threw out a bunch of name of energies, of gods, goddesses, deities, okay? Comment. All right, we're going to push into portal number 9. We're going to push into portal number 9. I'm looking at the sun reversed for portal number 9. There's blocked joy. All right, there's blocked joy here. I bet there's blocked joy here. Well, when you bring awareness to a lot of truth, that could cause blocked joy, right? Temporary dimming of your inner light, temporary depression, lack of success, difficulty in achieving your goals. The sun is reversed. Ooh. And we can all be familiar with that energy, okay? So we want to go ahead and reverse. We want to reverse that sun being in a reverse, all right? I rebuke all spells, rituals, and castings that are not of the highest frequencies of source love consciousness that may have been projected my way on all timelines, planes, and dimensions, consciously, subconsciously, and unconsciously, knowingly and unknowingly. All right, so this came in reverse. We're going to go ahead and turn it around. The ocean. What is the ocean saying? The ocean holds some dark secrets. All right, so the ocean could be part of and could know of the Wild Wild West ice trade. Confirmation on the phone, okay? The ocean. There's so much beautiful things that we have down in that deep, dark, beautiful space, right? They could be in the sun reverse now. Yeah, these energies that now that things are being brought to light, it's like, wow. Some energies out here could be in the sun reverse energy, right? We're also in the month of November, heading into winter, right? So a lot of depression comes during these months of fall and winter, okay? A lot of depression, a lot of inner thoughts, overthinking, right? Did I do enough? Am I loved? Right? Holiday seasons making you think of family members and love and gifts and presents. Did you realize that they have a doggone holiday in every month? So every month you're actually spending not only money on your bills, but you're also spending money on a celebration after a celebration after a celebration that's not even of your holiday. It's not even of your true traditions. No, it's not. Come on back though. Let's reel it back in. That's portal number 10. Let's get into portal number 11, 12, and 13. All right, what was that? You tried to come on. I'm going to pull you out. All right, we got what? Somebody, we got to read this. 2 Kings, chapter 20, verses 13 through 17. Comment below if you know what that verse is before I get into the research. It has something to do with this Wild Wild West ice trade. Thank you for that confirmation, beloved. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Okay. Oh, we got economy. We got economy. I'm looking at economy here. Economy, production, research, manufacture, infrastructure. So Wild Wild West ice trade has something to do with the economy, science and technology. Well, we got Sumerian gods here, science and technology, academia, okay, commercial enterprises, military technologists, okay. That was portal number 12. Portal number 12. Let's get into portal number 13, please and thank you. What are we going to pull out for portal number 13, please and thank you? Give me a second here. What is that? Human trafficking is an ill-defined problem. Now, Governor Youngkin said that. So the Wild Wild West ice trade could have been involved with human trafficking, which is an ill-defined problem. Governor Youngkin from Virginia. All right, so let's get into some research here, right? Let's get into it. First of all, we're going to tap into the Wild Wild West ice trade. All right, so let's get into it. Wild Wild West ice trade. And another reason why I say comment below is because you never know who's going to come across this video and they want information, and it's great to see different perspectives as we're all learning, right? We're all learning. It's great to see your piece of the puzzle to this type of storyline or this type of energy of what's going on, So we got the Wild Wild West ice trade. Let's get into that, okay? Let's get into that. All right, let's see what we got here. So we're going to go over to history collection. The Wild West's ice trade, okay? How frozen lakes fueled the desert. All right, so set against the backdrop of the arid American West, the tale of the ice trade is a striking study in resourcefulness and irony. In an era before electric refrigeration, settlers in booming mining towns and dusty desert outposts relied on vast blocks of ice harvested from distant frozen lakes. The icy shipments, sometimes traveling more than 1,000 miles, made possible the cooling of drinks and preservation of food in some of the country's hottest places. This article dives into the remarkable journey of ice from remote northern lakes to the heart of the Wild West, exploring its history, logistics, and unexpected cultural impact. All right, so of course I'm going to have this inside of the description box. All right, we got the origins of America's ice trade. All right, it was born in the early 19th century in New England, where visionaries like Frederick Tudor saw opportunity in harvesting winter lake ice for export. Then you got harvesting ice. What? Excuse me. What the heck did this happen? All right. You got harvesting ice from the northern lakes is what they also did. They, using specialized saws and horse-drawn sledges, they transported tons of ice into insulated warehouses, okay? Now, they also had legal authority to do this, okay? Long journey. They created ice houses, oases in the deserts, cooling the frontier, okay? Now, let's see. Give me a second. Because now that we got a little bit of history on it, let's go into the dark side of it. Right? Let's go into the dark side of it. Because you also got the ocean here that's saying it's holding some dark secrets. So if you got the Wild Wild West, if they were taking it from, which lake did they just say they was taking it from? Give me a second. So frozen lakes, and all lakes are man-made, buried over top, just to bury over top of true history, right? All right, so it just says, what frozen lakes, let's see. Born in the 19th century, I'm saying which frozen lakes. Northern lakes. All right, so we got the northern lakes. Frozen lakes of Maine, New York, and New England. All right, so the northern lakes. All right, so we got the northern lakes. You got the northern lakes, which is covering what we know as northern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, northern Michigan. It is characterized by coniferous and northern hardwood forests, morainal hills, large lake basins, and broad areas of sandy outwash plains. This region is known for its numerous lakes and wetlands, and it has a relatively nutrient poor glacial soil composition. All right. right, so in particularly, the Great Lakes has a dark history marked by shipwrecks, smuggling, and other maritime tragedies. So this is going back from the Wild Wild West ice trade, which is the Northern Lakes, which is the Great Lakes. All right, stick with me. Which they also had legal authority. They were granted power, all right, from a government entity, or they were considered a government entity, right? Within, as long as they were within its own boundaries of local jurisdiction. Well, you got here that they control basically the Great Lakes. It has a dark history marked by shipwrecks, smuggling, and other maritime tragedies. The Dark Waters, True Crime and Mystery on the Great Lakes exhibit at the National Museum of the Great Lakes delves into these stories, revealing how seemingly placid waters can hide turbulent tales that shape communities and challenge the law. Okay? The exhibit includes tales of the SS Noronic Inferno, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, and H.H. Holmes' Murder Castle, among others. Chill out. Thank you. Among others. These stories highlight the hidden currents beneath the region's maritime story and the people, places, and forces that have shaped the Great Lakes. Okay, so I'm also going to have this inside the description box as well, so that you're able to go ahead and read these articles, okay, and write down your own notes, write down what you perceive it to be. Confirmation from that figurative found. All right. So that's part of the dark history. You always want to look up, okay, they're always going to give you history, right? You always want to look up, in the search, I put Northern Lakes dark history, okay? Now we're going to go Wild Wild West, dark Wild Wild West ice trade, dark history. Okay? All right, so just from the Google research, I'm just looking at what we just basically read. In an era before electric refrigeration, settlers in booming mining towns and dusty deserts outposts relied on vast blocks of ice harvested from distant frozen lakes. So that's what we just read. Hold on. We got 30 famous outlaws that terrorized the West. And then I'm also looking at 12 unfortunate tragedies from the Wild Wild West era. So I'm going to tap into that one. And this is coming from AmericaRewind.com. All right, AmericaRewind.com. This resource will also be in the description box. All right. 12 unfortunate tragedies from Wild Wild West era. We're looking at the bloody Battle of Little Bighorn. All right. The Battle of Little Bighorn, while famed the Custer's Last Stand, is steeped in a grimy irony often overshadowed. The conflict arising from a clash of cultural imperatives of broken treaties unfolded against a backdrop of immense desperation. Native leaders like Sitting Bull fought not just warriors but the encroachment of their world. The ensuing massacre of the 7th Cavalry serves as a grim reminder of relentless expansionism. Hidden within are stories of individual bravery and folly. All right, so then you also got the ill-fated Donner Party. If you're familiar with these, comment below. Beloved, comment below. We're also looking at the tragic death of Billy the Kid. I remember watching a movie about Billy the Kid. Billy the Kid, an enigmatic figure of youthful rebellion, met his end in a stark dance of fate. The young outlaw's life, marked by relentless pursuit and narrow escapes, culminated in a tragic finale far from the romanticized notions of the West. Shot by Sheriff Pat Garrett, Billy's death underscores the complexity of frontier justice. His short life, filled with violence and bravado, serves as a somber reflection of the chaotic order in an era struggling with lawlessness and swift retribution. Okay? It goes back to the local jurisdiction defining a specific region. So within that region, okay, the local jurisdiction was involved in this, for sure. You got the ghostly aftermath of Tombstone, the Forsaken Fort Parker massacre, notorious lynching in San Francisco. This is 1856 Committee of Vigilance, while seemingly a quest for order devolved into a grim spectacle. Born from frustration with rampant crime and corruption, it swiftly turned justice into an unforgiving gallows affair. Lynching became a public theater where due process surrendered to mob rule. Yeah. We're also looking at fate of the Mountain Meadows massacre and on. Okay, we can go on and on with that. Okay. We also pulled out 2 Kings chapter 20 verse 13 through 17, and then economy came right after that, right? And yes, the government is crashing. Well, that's just they no longer have control over the minds of a lot of entities, but especially certain chosen entities. Okay, let's get into it. So we got 2 Kings chapter 20. Okay, we got verse 13 through 17. I gotta write it like I see it now. You're different. All right, so shortly after this, Merodach-Baladan, the son of Baladan, king of Babylon, having heard the king was sick, sent a get well card and a gift to Hezekiah. Okay. Let's go to, I'm going to go to Bible Gateway real quick and I'm going to read it. And go ahead and comment below, you know, the metaphysical meaning of this, okay? So we're on chapter 13, 2 Kings, chapter 20, starting with verse 13. Hezekiah received the envoys and showed them all that was in his storehouses, the silver, the gold, the spices, and the fine olive oil, his armory, and everything found among his treasures. There was nothing in his palace or in all his kingdom that Hezekiah did not show them. Then Isaiah the prophet went to the king Hezekiah and asked, "What did those men say, and where did they come from?" The prophet asked, "What did they see in your palace?" "They saw everything in my palace," Hezekiah said. "There's nothing among my treasures that I did not show them." Then Isaiah said to Hezekiah, "Hear the word of the Lord. The time will surely come when everything in your palace and all that your predecessors have stored up until this day will be carried off to Babylon. Nothing will be left, says the Lord." Okay, so let's go ahead and let me see something here. Go back. Sorry. All right. So what was his mistake? What was King Hezekiah's mistake? First of all, they came from a distant land. They came from Babylon. The prophet asked, "Why? What did they see in your palace?" That's what threw me off there. What did they see in your palace? They saw everything in my palace. He let them see everything. There is nothing among my treasures that I did not show them, right? Then Isaiah said to Hezekiah, "Hear the word of the Lord. The time will surely come when everything in your palace and all that your predecessors have stored up until this day will be carried off to Babylon. Nothing will be left, says the Lord." So everything that was stolen, everything that was traded, every soul that, in my eyes, because you know I represent hashtag Lost Souls Tarot. Yes, every soul that was traded, every soul that was stolen, every grant of power that they have stolen is now being rendered back. I don't care what name said it, whether they said the Lord said it, God said it. This is just energy being given back, power being restored back. Not only to beings, but to the plane, to the planet, right? Transformation, terraformation. Terraforming the planet, the plane, back into its original state. And that comes with truth. The ocean holds some dark secrets. They stay in that ocean, don't they? They stay in there, don't they? What if the ocean is outer space? Just think, I don't know. What if deep down in the dark, deep down in the ocean is outer space and the other planes, simply reflecting its light into this big old monitor that we have called the sky, right? What if the planes and the planets are actually below? What if everything is actually below? Below the underground cities and all the tunnels they got. We're talking about deep down in the ocean. What if that is outer space? All right, so these portals also wanted us to bring recognition to human trafficking that happened during the Wild Wild West, right? And the ice trade, okay? Confirmation, right? Yeah, they was trading more than frozen ice. Yes, they were. Human trafficking was definitely involved in that. Creating their economy, right? And they use science and technology to create their commercial enterprises. They had military technologists. And this is dating back all the way to the Persian Empire era and Mesopotamian era. They created the militaries and the local jurisdictions and the court systems, right? All the way dating back to that time. But they've lied about terminating the program time and time again that they renamed it. Okay? But knock, knock, knockety knock, the universe says. Okay? So now they're in the sun of reverse. Now the sun is reversed for them. The sun is reversed for them. They have blocked joy. And it could be a temporary dimming of their inner light, or they had a temporary dimming of your inner light, right? Causing a temporary dimming of your inner light to give them light. But that's no longer possible, right? Power has been restored. Power is restored. So now they depressed. It's a lack of success. And they have a difficulty in achieving their goals. Don't forget that cougar. If you see a cougar, don't run. Don't run, first of all. If you see a picture of a cougar, if you see this right here, if you come across this video and you just see this word cougar here, or you see the word cougar, you see a truck go past and you see a cougar on it, then this message is definitely for you. I don't give a doggone what level you're on. You could be in politics, government, you could be a regular old schmegler like me. You could be chosen, you could be divine. I don't give a doggone. When you get this message, it's for you. And when you see that cougar, it's definitely for you. Because you have a cunning way to exhibit your leadership, confidence, awareness, and balance, okay? You are the cougar. You're steadfast, responsible, and dependable, right? You represent Mother Goddess with wisdom, traveling to secret realms. Embrace the divine feminine and masculine, correct? Everything is created from the divine feminine, right? A penis ain't nothing but a long clitoris. Everything came from the female, the woman. Sorry, I don't mean to say female. Came from the feminine first. Then was created into the masculine. Correct? The comment below if you have a different perspective. This is in my world, right? I'll guide you to stand behind convictions, learning how to use power, becoming a spiritual warrior, messenger between human and divine beings, okay? So we're going to go ahead, we're going to leave this storyline here. And this is what I meant by I'm going to go ahead and be changing up a little bit. So right now we're going to focus on different tiers, right? Opening up different portals from different tiers. For example, I will have a different transmission for family. I will have a different transmission for zodiac, star systems, and planes. There will be a different transmission for universal laws, a different transmission for ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. So right now we're focusing on the Wild Wild West ice trade, right? And of course, it's still going to be based on this storyline here, but part of a different transmission. All right, beloved? All right, so let's go ahead and get this bell rung. This is the community helpers for today that came out to bless us and show us what's going on in the community with their energies, all right? Let's go ahead and get this bell rung and release this energy of the community helpers, emotions, entities, and legal laws, and thank them as well. All right, and I also want to thank you. Remember to write down your goals, correct? Write down your goals. And not only are you going to write them down, you're going to go back and you're going to read them. You're going to read them. And then once you read them, you're going to act on them, right? You're going to believe in your own words. You're going to believe in you. You're going to believe in you. All right? I rebuke all spells, rituals, and castings that are not of the highest frequencies of source love consciousness that may have been projected our way on all timelines, planes, and dimensions, consciously, subconsciously, and unconsciously, knowingly and unknowingly. Anything and everything that I am connected to, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, and ethereally, it's all protected. All is transmuted into whatever was sent to me, and then it's sent back to its source, because we're all sovereign and free. Any agreements and contracts that I may have agreed to while I was being on lower paradigms of existence of consciousness, they are all cut and they are all ended on all timelines, planes, and dimensions. Consciously, subconsciously, and unconsciously, knowingly and unknowingly. I am sovereign, I am sovereign, I am sovereign. It is done, it is done, it is done. And so it is. So you want to say that in increments of 3, 6, and 9 in order to make your manifestation, your dream, or your manifestation come alive. Let's go ahead and ring this bell. So we do appreciate you all for coming through. You must go. You must leave. Your energy is no longer welcome here. Correct? Correct. Thank you. Thank you all for joining this transmission. Much peace, much light, much love, but especially much darkness.